Alright, we have one last little bit to do for our personal budget. You'll notice here that we're missing some percentages here that I think might be helpful. So I'll put those in, and then we'll do a little bit of visualization as well. Alright, so I ought to be able to copy that formula. Control-Alt-V. Formulas in number formats. Click OK. Yeah, so it looks like it's working, right? What you'll notice though is that it gives us a little warning. Formula in the cell differs from formulas in this area of the spreadsheet. This one down here, all right, I click on it, says inconsistent formula. All right, what you can do to see why it's doing that, we can show all formulas. Here are the green errors or warning messages, right? It's inconsistent, even though it's doing stuff above it. There's a formula to the left and a formula to the right that's different than it, so it doesn't understand that. Here, this one it seems okay with, even though there's a number on this side, just a single reference here. This is pointing to the one above it. Yeah, so sometimes Excel is a little too smart for its own good. So you should, if you get these warning messages, you should check them out to make sure that it's not doing what you want it to do. But this looks like it's doing what we want it to do. And I think I ought to be able to just straight up paste. That should work, right? And I don't think that I want to go past June, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to go past June, right? Because we don't have actuals. Right? So what this is saying is I overspent by 8.03%, which caused my savings to be off by a negative 140%, right? Because these are such small numbers I'm saving anyway compared to larger. Right? Percentage-wise, it seems really, really bad. All right, so that gives you a different perspective on things, which might be very useful. All right, so the next thing I might want to do is add some visualization to this. We can do this quite easily and pretty good just up front. First I'm going to look at this column change here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some conditional formatting. Excel has gotten really better with this kind of stuff in the recent past. If I go to home, there's conditional formatting right here. If I click on this first one, I'm going to do data bars, and what that does is it fills in with a color starting from the left going to the right according to the values in those cells, right? So look at the minimum and I'll look at the maximum. The minimum 0, the maximum, this one is 50. So that'll be a full bar. I'm going to do gradient, and I'm going to do it in red because bigger numbers are worse in this case, right? Because I'm spending more on average than I did last year. So notice that it put now instead of having to look at numbers, I can quickly pick out which ones are the worst, right? My rent, these two are tied, gasoline and clothes, right? All that stuff. So the bars are going to be our friend. We'll learn a lot more about that in class. Let's go ahead and also do conditional formatting for the percent change over the budget. This one I'm going to do slightly different. I'm going to do conditional formatting. I'm going to do color scales. And again, big positive numbers are bad, so we usually associate that with red. So I'll do red down to a green color scale, or white in the middle is 0. Right. And then we can either format painter and do it over here too, right? If we wanted to. Or we can go up and do conditional formatting on each by itself. Or we can select these cells right? And do it all at once. Doesn't matter how you do it so much. Yeah, I don't actually like that, doing it all at the same time, simply because the scaling is going to be slightly different. So I'm going to do it one each time. I think is a little bit probably better way of doing it. I don't know. We could talk about that sometime. And I just have to go up to June because at that point I don't have any of the other stuff. All right. So that looks halfway decent. All right. Now, what if I wanted to know whether or not I had put those rules over on July, right? Well, what you can do, you can go to conditional formatting and you can go to manage rules, and there's none applied on my current selection, which is over in AA, column AA. If I come over here and select this one, just one cell, right, and do conditional formatting, manage rules, it tells me that it's a graded color scheme, right? So I can see that even though it's white, because it's in the middle, right, it's okay that way. All right, so we've finished up our personal budget. We have some issues with not being able to stay within budget, it appears, but now we have some visualization showing us where things are going out of whack and where things are going good. All right, that finishes up that example.